Now, you've known him as a tough-talking spokesman for the former military president, General Ibrahim Babangida, and as a former commissioner for information in Edo State. You've also seen him on TV as a political pundit, uncovering the stories behind the headlines, and more recently as a keen supporter of Bola Tinubu, brandishing his approval of the president like a weapon. But now Prince Kassim Afegbua has decided that he wants to be governor of Edo State. But his opponents have already lined him up in their sights, declaring that he should not come anywhere near the post because, they say, he's from Edo North, which has had its turn at the job. That's where former Governor Adams Oshimole comes from. And the incumbent, Godwin Obaseki, comes from the south. So the argument is that it's the turn of Edo Central, and any honest politician who believes in fairness and justice would hold their horses and allow the centre their turn. Well, that argument doesn't wash with Mr. Afegbua. Now, why is that? Well, for more on why he wants to be governor of Edo State, I'm joined now in the studio by the former spokesman of the military president, Ibrahim Babangida, and former commissioner of information in Edo State, Prince Kassim Afegbua, who is also a political commentator, public affairs analyst, and now also a governorship aspirant in Edo State under the umbrella of the APC. I thought I'd never get to the end of your introduction. I mean, I was starting to think, wait a minute, did I actually write this? Where's the end point? But I mean, it's certainly good to see you, by the way.
Thank you very much, Charles.
It certainly looks like the political catfight has already begun well ahead of the primary, which I understand is in February. Yeah. But then you're used to political catfights, aren't you?
Yeah, very well so. It's expected because any contest for power, and there has to be a lot of competition, a lot of contestation, exchange of ideas, exchange of scenarios, permutations, and all of that. Well, we're used to it, but I'm not an itinerant politician. That will say because I'm running elections and I will start canvassing certain idiosyncrasies that doesn't suit, the mood of the people, So for me, I feel very strongly that I've got all that it takes, to preside over Edo State.
Well, we'll come to that in a moment, but you talk about the mood of the people. Yeah. I mean, the mood of a lot of people, certainly the mood of those who are also aiming to run, like yourself, seems to be pretty straightforward. I mean, they're saying clear off. I mean, your part of the state, Edo North, has had its turn, and according to the basic rules of zoning, it's not your turn.
Well, thank you, Charles. I tell people, in the last election, I was an advocate of rotation of residency within the PDP because essentially it's captured in its constitution, Article 7, subsection C. So on the basis of that, I said no, after 8 years of President Buhari, it should be naturally the turn of the South.
That's why you didn't support Atiku?
That's why I didn't support Atiku. In the context of governorship of Edo, the scenario is different. Number one, APC doesn't have zoning in its constitution. Number two, no senatorial district has been refused the opportunity of contesting for governorship of the state. So the issue of zoning in Edo State has not been an issue. It has not played a dominant role. In the last 16 years, there have been aspirants from Edo Central who contested primaries. Nobody stopped them, but they didn't win for obvious reasons. Now I'm from Edo North. You won't tell me I should drop my ambition when I didn't tell you to stop, to drop your ambition as a central person when you tested your popularity at the primaries. So as an aspirant, I have every right, inalienable one for that matter, to test my own popularity at the primaries. If I lose out, understandable. If I win, I go for the re-election. But again, like I tell people, politics of zoning to Edo Central, as the people are agitating, should not be a sense of entitlement. It should rather be a product of deliberate and conscious process of negotiation in such a way that, yes, because they will need people across the two senatorial districts, Edo South, Edo North, given the fact that the demographics in the central is in the minority. And so they will need to cultivate us. Not tell me, oh, it has to be the turn of. No, I won't subscribe to that. I would rather that, okay, fine, you want to contest. Nobody is stopping you to contest. I want to contest. Nobody should stop me. We'll go to the primaries. If at the end of the day you defeat me, fine. If I defeat you, fine. That should be the normative order. But for anyone to think that, oh, we are going to hand you over to Edo Central on a platter of gold, the demographics do not support all of that. And so I maintain my lane, I'm doing my consultations, I'm reaching out to people and all of that. If after reaching out to people and all that, they feel that I'm not, eligible enough, to represent them at the primaries, it's a different ballgame. Because if I get the ticket, which I hope I will get, I will need the support of the Edo Central people because they are voters.
Is there a proportional definition in your world and in your mind of the word zoning? Or does it mean something different to you than it does to the rest of us? I wonder how discomforting it is for you that even before you've really started, people are saying, absolutely not, we want to turf him out.
Well, for me, incidentally, I'm not the only one from Edo North who is contesting.
Yeah, but you're the first one who's come here.
Yes,
I know. I
know.
That suggests some sort of measure of prominence on your part.
Yes, of course. So, but what I'm saying is that there are quite a number of aspirants. Edo Central has got quite a number of aspirants, about maybe 16 or 18 of them. Even Edo South, the zone of the current governor, who is going to be completing his 8 years next year, there are quite a number of other aspirants contesting in those places. You see, Edo's case is a peculiar one. Peculiar in the sense that the voting pattern, is strong on one or two senatorial districts and weak in the central. And so what I'm saying in essence is that if the central is going to be resolved as the senatorial district to produce the next candidate, it has to be a conscious decision, a deliberate decision by all the parties. And when I say all the parties, if everybody is taking a candidate from Edo Central, all the parties, yes, they can go out to scramble for the votes from both Edo North and Edo South. But if a party is taking a candidate from Edo Central and another one is taken from Edo South, for example, which has 52% of the voting population, or is taken from Edo North, which has 27% of the voting population, then there will be an issue because every party wants to win election. It's not just about feeding candidate. You need a candidate that can deliver the votes. You need name recognition. The candidate has got substance, to offer the people. And so for me, I told my friends in Edo Central, incidentally, all of them who are aspiring are my good friends. If it is not me, give me your own support. I'll give my support. But if it is not you, give me support also. Because it's all about contestation of ideas. It's all about reaching out, networking. And in the final analysis, the people who will vote, the delegates who will vote at the primaries, will be able to decide which of these aspirants appeal to their sensibilities more than the other. And so it's for me, it's not. It's not going to be a do or die for me, because I believe that politics and democracy is all about constructive engagement, collective bargaining. We trade off certain things, and so that in the final analysis, we're on the same table to decide how to advance the course of campaigns.
Right. So what is it about being governor that drives you? I mean, what are you intending to offer that is compelling you to run?
Oh, lovely question. Charles, I have been actively in politics now for about 25 years.
Okay, 25 years, so give me the governorship.
No, yeah, 25 years. I have fought battles for people. Thirdly, I've got what it takes to advance governance across the 18 local governments in the state, and I've got the courage and boldness to take decisions that a lot of persons may shy away from. And I've studied the last 7 years of Obaseki, and I've seen a lot of pretense at play. And I say this without due sense of responsibility, not necessarily trying to play politics now, but at least I am very familiar with the 18 local governments, and I know what is presently ongoing there. And I think I can do better. With the kind of resources that the state is getting and the way they are spending these resources, I don't think they are hitting at the right chord. Do you imagine, Charles, that a state like Edo, that is like a state in transition, it's a transit state. If you are going to the south-south, you must pass through Edo. You are going to the north, you pass through Edo. You are going to the east, you pass through Edo. Almost, it's at the center of it. It's a nucleus. Now you have all roads linking Edo in bad shape presently, aside from the one coming from Lagos. And you have a governor who tells you that this, put signboard, I said, this is federal government road, and put signboard. Is federal government coming to ply those roads in Edo State? We need intervention from the state government. The government I served in Edo, Adams Oshomole's government, did a lot of federal roads for which the federal government paid 18 billion refunding. You know, now one will expect that when that kind of money comes into your purse as a state government, let the people feel the impact. There's a particular portion in Ekpoma that became so bad that all you need to do is just to reclaim it, create culverts, and fix it, just less than a kilometer. And they allowed it to deteriorate to the point that it has become an eyesore. The other one coming from Agbo, the same thing. These are small projects. The other day, the governor was captured in flooding on Sapele Road. You see, as a government, you have to look at what will suit the people, not playing politics with every scenario when you know you have the means. But the same government will claim 850 million naira for security votes every month. So how do you reconcile that? Yet, insecurity in Edo is fundamentally bad. Insecurity in Edo, kidnapping and all of that is almost a daily occurrence. People are trapped on the highways because of bad roads. People want to travel and all of that. So, even schools, let's look at schools. Oshomole did quite a lot of what they call red roof revolution. Because the current governor was part and parcel of that government, and we thought the motivation for Oshomole was that, okay, this one will continue. It will be a government of continuity. And by the time he started playing politics with all of this. As I speak to you, the schools in my community are in terrible shape. One secondary school in my community has packed up because there were no teachers.
Yeah, but to be fair,
yes,
okay, I mean, I'm not disputing some of the things that you said.
Yeah.
But the governments there now will probably dispute the fact that you're saying that all these things have gone bad during his own time. It's a cumulative thing, isn't it? I mean, if schools have improved dramatically during Oshimole's time, they wouldn't just go from there to there. You see what I mean?
Good question. Good question, Charles.
It would be a gradual erosion. It's a cumulative problem in Nigeria, a cumulative problem of bad governance over a long period of time.
Good question, Charles. But I tell you, if the state has 1,000 primary schools, and the particular government before this one is able to fix 500, you'll expect that there will be continuity and you'll be able to fix the remaining 500. When I say schools are bad, it's not every school. And it's not that the ones that Oshomole did are bad. They are still good.
Well, you're talking about the one in your sort of
in my neighborhood, only one of the schools was fixed during Oshomole. We still have 3 others that are in bad shape that we're expecting that this government will continue from there. And we never saw that. You see, they preach so much about Edo Best as poster project for revamping the schools. But when you go around, click the internet and all that, you see schools that are in bad shape. I give you a typical example again of project abandonment as a result of lack of continuity. The Edo City Stormwater Master Plan was a project that was taken by Adam Soshomole to reclaim a lot of portions of eroded areas in Benin because erosion was becoming an issue. 5 Junction, the place they call 5 Junction, was one of those very troublesome and turbulent places. We were able to reclaim it with underground drains and what have you. Heavy work and turn it to one of the most beautiful roundabout in Benin. We also expanded the roads from Lagos when you pass Uniben and all of that, so that we can create channels, for taking off the runoff into the main channel to the Ipoba River. Now, the Igbonadua end of it, which is another troublesome area, we couldn't complete that one at the period we're talking about. The airport road, we were able to do all of that, dualize the road, expanded it, and took it to Ogba River and all of that. All of these are underground drains. If we were not there when we were doing this job, we wouldn't know what has gone underground. We reclaimed Queen Ede erosion, where a Catholic church was almost giving way. We reclaimed all of that. Now we expected that a government that will be succeeding will first and foremost desilt the drains, continue so that it will help the water flow, and also continue that of Igbonadua to empty it into the main channel that is taken into this thing. They abandon it. As we speak now, it's not. That's why when you see rain falls in Benin, you see flooding everywhere. So government has to be a continuity. It's not like when President Buhari said, I am inheriting both the liabilities and assets of my predecessor. And it's our responsibility to provide a roadmap. Well, and so I was expecting that someone who served Oshomole for 8 years, succeeding him, should naturally be able to
and would know what to do.
Exactly.
Anyway, that Obaseki's government obviously have a right to reply if they want to reply to what you're saying. But let me sort of move away from that specifically and get your reaction to other developments in Nigeria which might affect you if you stayed on this track to be governor and perhaps eventually become the governor of the state. I mean, we've seen the conflict currently raging in Rivers State over political godfathers and godsons. Are you learning any lessons from it as you go forward with your ambition to be governor? I mean, I'm wondering if you have or are intending to have a political godfather, or if you're wary of having one as a result of that.
Charles, you see, I'm a student of power and power game. I've studied quite a lot of it. I've also gained experience from IBB.
I was just going to say the master strategist himself.
And quite a number of other persons. You see, I've studied histories of power acquisition in other countries, in other climes, and all of that. The temperament is almost the same, just that the response of the people differs. You see, the word Godfather, they didn't start from Nigeria. It's not a Nigerian word. It's an English word.
Yeah, but the Nigerians have given it their own twist.
No, wait. Another one, they say Godson. It's like that. When America was starting its own democracy, it played out for the emergence of George Washington after the War of Independence. That's the truth. Then from there, somebody who was his vice president now contested, I think John Adams and all of that. And Americans set up what they called Jacobean Scandal Club, where they scandalize people who they see that they are threats to the throne of presidency. They scandalize with whether you like money, they pump money there. They use that to implicate you. Whether you like women, they do that and all of that. It's all a contest of power. Now, coming back to Nigeria, the one that is playing out in Nigeria, don't forget that Edo State had its own share. And I came out very openly to say, see, what you call Godfather, I see it as gratitude and show of ingratitude, because I'm looking for governor now. I'm reaching out to a lot of people in the states. If one person, 2 persons, 3 persons are able to shoulder my responsibility, provide funds in their own legitimate way to assist me, to support me, I won't come tomorrow and be telling them that they are suffering from psychiatric problems.
So basically, for you, it would be the sale of the century. You'd essentially sell the governorship to them.
It's not about
for them to help
it's
you
not
win.
about they are not stopping you from performing. The one you're talking about specifically in Rivers, I think it's just a matter of.
Is that an extreme case? Do you think?
know, I think the governor is being misled. That's where I see it.
But the governor wants to assert his independence
nobody,
as a governor.
Let me tell you, nobody is stopping him from asserting his independence. You can assert your independence without, undermining the process that brought you on board. You see, the noise people make out there does not equate to what goes on under closed doors, under certain channels to birth your governorship. Now, when you see, if you were that strong, why didn't you bring your structure? I'm looking for now. I don't have the kind of structure that I would need, to become governor. I would need to rely on certain persons in the entire 18 local governments. When you call one local government,
and what would you be prepared to give them in return for that structure?
I would respect their right to own opinion in the course of my governance.
No, nobody's talking. Opinion is not what they're talking about.
No, it's opinion.
We're talking about taking possession of the state.
No, that is not the truth.
And you just being a figurehead.
No, that's not the truth. Because what is the cause of this one? The governor of Rivers wants to appoint caretaker committee chairman. Under the Constitution, for God's sake, you have to elect people to preside over that tier of government. Local government is the closest to the people. We allow them to do it. A Wike said, no, we must do election into that place. The governor says, no. He said, this is the structure that brought you. You must respect the rights of people to go into an election at the local level and appoint those who they want. That's an attraction for me. But if it's a different thing when he says, okay, bring your money, I want to seize the state money, which I see a lot of people talking about, that's not the issue. So the point is, at every point in time, a godson must be grateful for those persons who put together their political network, influence, and everything to make you governor.
Anyway,
I'm looking for such a godfather who will make me president, governor of Edo State. I am looking for them.
Well,
let them come, because when I get there, I will be grateful to them because they provided me ladder with which I'm climbing to position of authority. Even
it looks like you're shopping for one.
I'm shopping for one. If you see Charles.
Well, let's move away from that, because we're not a shop. I mean, we're not selling things for you on your behalf. Let's move on, because we've got about 5 minutes or so left. The Supreme Court has, of course, now given its ruling on the presidential election, which is decisive and final. Yeah. Do you think that judgment will perhaps heal the political wounds that have been inflicted on this country by that bruising election, or do you expect further sort of divisions?
Well, I wouldn't concede to the use of your bruising.
But it was a bruising election.
No, because, Charles,
I mean, your point of view, I find it quite extraordinary.
No. I participated actively in that election in my local government, in my community of Okwela, where I come from. I voted, votes were counted, and all of that. I didn't see any molestation or what have you.
Yeah, but that's just one area.
And the votes that were captured in my polling unit were the same one that were relayed in Benin, where they did the final collation. You see, people just bring in so much sentiment, so much emotions into a lot of things about this whole thing. And let me tell you, the role of the pollsters, those who were doing opinion polls that were skewed in favor of certain candidates, was actually the reason why some persons haven't even played the football match. They were already counting their games. So at the end of the day, when they lost the process, they felt, oh, the process was not right. The Supreme Court, what they did, for me, I wasn't surprised, because I told them that you left. Are you not worried that they left the substance of their earlier declaration that they won the election? They left that at the tribunal.
Yeah. You see,
and when they came to the Supreme Court, it was all about not qualified.
No,
or
the point
qualified.
I'm making is not even about the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the entire, during the election itself.
Nigerians,
it was a very, very
Charles,
brutal election.
It wasn't brutal.
Ethnicity.
It wasn't
My
brutal.
goodness.
Those
What
who,
planet are
no,
you
no,
on?
Charles, let me tell you, it wasn't brutal. Those who played the ethnic card got defeated to their game. Those who played religious card got defeated to their game. The one who played pro-Nigeria got victory at the end of the day.
A lot of people would disagree with that definition.
You see, they are not supposed to agree, but that's my view.
I understand
and
that.
I'm taking
and
this
I
view
respect
from an informed perspective.
I respect your view.
As someone who participated.
But my view is also that we're fast running out of time. So I need to kind of move on.
No problem.
Because it's good to get your view, no matter how that view comes across. But, I mean, what do you think will now define President Tinubu's engagement with the Nigerian people at this time of multiple crises, from political to economic to ethnic? Can he bring people across the political divide together? Is he prepared or willing to do that?
Well, I think President Tinubu knows that he has accepted that. He has a lot of enormous challenges on his hands, no doubt about that. For a country as disparate as Nigeria, you should expect that all manners of sentiments, emotions will come on stream. I know, but your ability to choose the right persons to plug, the leakages and all of that is what defines you and your leadership. So he has enormous responsibility to rally around the country, build national cohesion, reach out to all the geopolitical zones and all of that, and find a way of creating some sense of homogeneity in terms of purpose and vision, to lead the country. Because what unites us is about what are the indices of performance. Is it doing well? Is it not doing well? If it's doing well and it's creating the right incentives and initiatives that will address the challenges confronting us, then we are good to go. But if they see that it's not doing so well, people will protest. And there are economic challenges all over the world. Nigeria is not peculiar. Even in London now, you don't collect your VAT at the airport any longer. They've stopped that. So that means there are issues economically. So the other places, the statistics are not smiling at anyone.
Right.
And so with all the war in Ukraine, Russia, with the one in Gaza and Israel and all of that, they have their concomitant effects on the psyche of the average person elsewhere in terms of economic transactions. And so President Tinubu must, put his hand on the jar and ensure that hands-on, he can get the job done. And he has told his ministers just today that if you are not ready to perform, you leave. That's the way to go.
Okay. I want to thank you very much indeed. It's always quite an experience engaging you. Prince Kassim Afegbua is the former spokesman of military President Ibrahim Babangida, former Commissioner of Information in Edo State, and now a governorship aspirant in Edo State under the umbrella of the APC. Thank you very much indeed.
It's a pleasure, Charles. Always.